What if we told you that one of the most overlooked nations in West Africa just became the continent's new gold giant? What if the same country that was once struggling with foreign domination and underdevelopment is now exporting billions in gold on its own terms? Welcome to Burkina Faso, the unexpected gold powerhouse of 2025. You're watching African Today TV, where we dive deep into the untold stories of Africa's rise, from the streets of Ouagadougou to the hidden veins of gold running beneath its soil. Today, we're not just talking about minerals. We're talking about sovereignty, leadership, and the future of African wealth. Under the dynamic leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso has turned its gold industry around, shaking off exploitative contracts, empowering its people, and proving that Africa can own its resources. So how did it all happen? How did this small Sahelian nation become a symbol of economic independence and mining success in just under 3 years? Grab your seat, subscribe if you haven't already, and let us take a powerful journey into the golden rise of Burkina Faso, right here on African Today TV. Burkina Faso, landlocked and often overlooked on the map, has long been rich in natural resources, especially gold. In fact, the country sits atop one of the most promising gold belts in the world, the Hound Belt, which stretches across several West African countries. By 2022, gold already made up over 70% of Burkina Faso's exports. But the irony was painful. Foreign mining corporations, mainly from Canada, Australia, and France, controlled the majority of mining licenses, leaving the country with mere scraps in the form of taxes, royalties, and occasional CSR handouts. The land was rich, but the people were not. Corruption, poor infrastructure, insecurity, and neo-colonial contracts prevented Burkina Faso from fully benefiting from its resources. Then came Captain Ibrahim Traoré. In September 2022, young military officer Ibrahim Traoré staged a coup, citing rampant insecurity, government dysfunction, and economic stagnation. But unlike typical military takeovers, Traoré's vision extended far beyond security. He saw economic liberation as essential to true independence, and at the heart of that liberation was gold. He knew that control of gold meant power, real power, not just political, but financial. One of his first moves? Audit all mining contracts. And what they found shocked the nation. Decades of underpayment, tax evasion, land abuses, and a complete lack of transparency by foreign companies. The new government acted swiftly. Several licenses were revoked, renegotiated, or nationalized. Burkina Faso was no longer going to be a passive exporter of wealth. It was now a guardian of it. By early 2023, the government launched the Gold Sovereignty Initiative, aimed at increasing state ownership and citizen benefit from gold mining. Key features included the creation of a national gold authority to monitor and manage mining operations, minimum 30% local equity in all new mining ventures, ban on raw gold exports without local refining, incentives for artisanal miners to formalize operations. In collaboration with local engineers and international allies like Mali and Niger, Burkina Faso began building local refining plants to process gold internally before exporting it. The result? By mid-2024, Burkina Faso was exporting refined gold, not just raw ore, increasing revenues by over 35%. Meanwhile, thousands of local jobs were created in refining, logistics, and mining services, particularly among the youth. Captain Traoré often says, "What lies beneath our feet must lift up our people, not foreign economies." True to that, a portion of gold revenue was redirected toward building schools and hospitals in mining zones, funding local infrastructure projects like roads and water systems, establishing a gold-backed national development fund to finance agriculture and industry. One key program, the Gold for Youth Employment Scheme, trains young Burkinabe in mine safety, engineering, refining, and export logistics. In 2025 alone, over 25,000 youths were trained and employed. Even the previously informal artisanal gold miners, known locally as orpailleurs, were brought into the fold. With ID registration, safety gear, and access to shared refining centers, they now contribute formally to the economy and benefit from health insurance and education funds. Burkina Faso's gold transformation didn't happen in isolation. Together with Mali and Niger, Traoré helped form the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, a regional bloc aimed at promoting economic and security cooperation. One of AES's most powerful initiatives? A joint gold exchange system, where member states agree to trade gold internally at fair prices, bypassing international speculators. This move sent shockwaves through the global gold markets. No longer was West African gold automatically priced in London or Paris. It was being priced in Ouagadougou, Bamako, and Niamey. The bloc also announced plans to back a regional currency with gold reserves, as a step toward financial independence from the CFA franc and European control. This strategic pivot turned the Sahel into a geopolitical player in the global minerals market. 2022, Burkina Faso produced approximately 66 metric tons of gold, with most revenue exiting the country via foreign companies. 2025, the country now produces over 80 metric tons, with more than 60% of value retained locally due to refining and state ownership. Government gold revenue jumped from $2.1 billion in 2022 to $3.9 billion in 2025. Over 50,000 new jobs created in gold-related industries. The country has also paid off portions of external debt using gold-backed bonds, increased investment in solar energy to power mines sustainably, built a state-owned gold reserve worth over $1.2 billion, safeguarding the economy from future shocks. Burkina Faso is no longer just a resource-rich country. It's now a resource-smart country. Of course, the road hasn't been smooth. International mining lobbies tried to pressure Traoré's government with lawsuits and media smear campaigns. Some foreign investors pulled out, warning of political risk. But Burkina Faso didn't blink. Instead, it turned to local investors, regional allies, and new partners, especially in Asia and South America, for technology and trade deals. Security remains a concern in certain zones, but the government's civil-military development strategy, building infrastructure alongside anti-terror patrols, has stabilized major mining corridors. And the message from Ouagadougou is clear. The era of extraction without empowerment is over. Burkina Faso is charting a new course, not just for itself, but for all of Africa. As we wrap up this special report, remember this. In just 3 years, a once impoverished and exploited country has turned its most valuable natural resource into a tool of transformation. Gold is no longer a curse. It is a catalyst for dignity, sovereignty, and development. And it all began with bold leadership, people-centered policy, and a refusal to remain poor in a land of wealth. Burkina Faso's rise is not just a national success story. It's a continental blueprint. So, the next time someone says Africa can't thrive without aid, tell them about the gold flowing from the Sahel, not into foreign banks, but into schools, roads, and futures. If you found this report enlightening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to African Today TV. We bring you the real stories of African resilience, resistance, and renaissance. Drop a comment below. Do you think more African nations should nationalize their gold sectors? We want to hear your thoughts. Until next time, stay golden, stay sovereign, and stay proud. This is African Today TV, where Africa tells its own story.